This is the John Brown Alliance, where we don't fear, we fight. Before I get started, I would like to reflect on a video that I made before about some people I met a week ago. If you live in the Washington, D.C. area and are a member of the armed forces, please travel down to Union Station, walk outside to the cab stand, look for the tents, and visit these people. Flair, I gave them my word that I was going to promote their cause on any media outlet I had access to. Now, the reason for this is that when I talk about something, I know about it. I spent some time with those people, and they have been there since May, in front of Union Station, fighting for your constitutional rights as American citizens. If you can get there, they're still there as far as I know. Go give a donation and do anything you can to support these people. These are people who have served this country in your name with your tax dollars. Not people who sell out to corporate interests, APAC, or billionaires. They are in Union Station and around it because they believe in the United States of America. And at one time, these people, this military, represented the country I used to be proud of. If you don't go there and you support Donald Trump's army, you don't represent me. Before we get too long-winded, because I intended this to be a positive video, but I don't think it's going to turn out like that. Please like and subscribe to this video. We have about 18 subscribers right now, just 18 people that are interested in Native American causes around Washington, D.C. But if you put a comment in, and I'm hoping positive, then it will move us up in the algorithms. And we found out recently that these algorithms are being manipulated by someone. It's everything that you see when you go into YouTube is clickbait, pretty much. That's the algorithm. So, true news is not getting through the way it should. And there are people way better than me who can talk about the news and the facts and all that kind of stuff. But others who have a message to send are not getting through. So please, if you get this message, like and subscribe. Become one of the 100 that we want to achieve before New Year's Day. 100 people. I just need 100 people to listen to what we have to say. Because this is not our first rodeo as Native Americans. So maybe we have some wisdom to impart here. And maybe, for once in your white life, you should listen. So anyway, I wanted to talk about my experience at the Remove the Regime rally. But so much has happened since then. So I'm going to have to get back to myself. 2 days ago, I didn't pretend to celebrate or be thankful for things that were taken away from me. Instead, we retreated to beadwork. We retreated to our craft. We set ourselves back so that we could have time of reflection. Because nothing positive has happened to Native Americans since white people invaded this country. So it's not about, for us, showing up to protest or some politician telling us how we need to fucking act. Or we're not with them. Truth be told, we don't give a shit about being accepted by you. We have accepted us since you came here. Every last one of you who is not native. So we don't need to justify our existence, our participation, or anything else by you at this point in time. Since you came here, you elected what you did. You did what you did. You raped our environment. You enslaved our people. And lately, you have deported our people. And yet, you still want us to believe that your protests on face value is all we need to survive. If you don't look like me, then you can't tell me. You can't dictate to me how that will change our personal positions on our stolen land. I'll tell you what I do know. If Florida, according to Ron DeSantis, is where woke goes to die, then Washington, D.C. is where evil and authoritarianism goes to die. That's going to happen. It is inevitable. The gig is up. Now, remember, there are 340,000 million Americans in this country. And only a fraction of cultists are either in charge or voted for the most disgusting individual to occupy the White House in American history. These same poor white people who are complaining right now about what Donald Trump did to them are the same people who voted for something called Make America Great Again. The Gilded Age. Now they're whining about their choice. They should have learned during the first Trump administration, when people pulled out their cell phones and taped individuals dying of COVID on respirators, who told you not to trust Donald Trump, but you did it anyway. You did it anyway. Not only did you do that to you, but you did it to us. And you need to take responsibility as voters for that. You came back and asked for more because you didn't get cut a check by Joe Biden. Because that's not the way it works. The stupidity of white America is that they believe anything a white man tells them. But they will not believe in black excellence. They will not believe that the COVID vaccine was developed by a female black scientist and it is saving their fucking wretched lives today. They don't understand that. They don't do the research. It's called, wait for it, low IQ. I'm not going to look into research in anything because I believe what the white man says. That's MAGA. Now I ask you, and it's not just white MAGA, it's also the Democratic Party. How many skull fucks do you need to understand that this man and his regime is seeking to see you dead? He is already talking about getting rid of the Supreme Court right now. With no Supreme Court, where does that leave you? What does that make you? He has already taken the power from every single solitary government agency in these United States. All of the power. All of it. And even though sometimes we win in state and local and federal courts, we will never win in the Supreme Court. Never. Because they are part of the cult and they are conscripted and they are full on until the end. The absolute end of us. We are already past a post-democracy era. Of course, the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and all of the rules of law exist on paper. But so long as no local law enforcement or governor is going to employ his people or his law enforcement officers to stop ICE in all of these places where they are disappearing, murdering, and maiming individuals, none of this, no amount of protesting, no amount of boycotting, no amount of anything is going to change this. I know, because Native Americans lived through it. And I have the testimonies of those people in my heart and my mind as I heard it back in the 1990s. When some of the last abusive Indian boarding schools were closed. You know what they were? They were concentration camps for kids. Learn the history of your country. The history of America is not white nationalism or white domination. It is the truth that every person that looks like me is exposing to you in real time. In the words of our ancestors. In the making of our beadwork. in the cooking of our food. Now, these same assholes who show up to powwows on motorcycles pretending to love Indians are the same assholes that voted for Donald Trump. So the next time you're at a powwow and some asshole butts in front of you and tells you, oh, he's an Indian because he drives a motorcycle, that's that white propaganda bullshit. And we have fallen for it for at least 20 years. When I say that we are in a past democracy era, we're past the democracy era. I say that because all systems that have protected them are down. We can no longer rely on the United States Congress as a whole, even Democrats. We can't rely on institutions of education. We can't rely on law enforcement in a lot of places. And we sure as fuck can't rely on the Supreme Court. When these institutions have failed, we are beyond a democracy. We were on a downward spiral, right smack dab into something that by history has not yet been defined. What's next? Somebody's going to jump up on one of these podcasts and they're going to do a speech and they're going to go to prison. Alexei Navalny. That's what's next. Some great leader is going to rise up and then he's going to be executed by the Trump administration because still moderate white people are saying, let's wait until 2026. We'll vote him out of office. But when this white person rises up and he dies, people are going to go, oh, is this the country we live in? Really? Before that happens, mind you, all over the United States, Donald Trump's Gestapo, he calls ICE, has disappeared 4,000 people who resided in the United States, most of which are American citizens. 4,000. Now, we're not going to even mention the many thousand, the quota issued by Stephen Miller that has been disappeared to countries that we don't even know the names of, especially honkies like the fucking Proud Boys and people like that. They don't even know the names of these countries. But they were all on board to fund these people to be deported to places they don't come from. This is where we are at. They have gotten creative and nasty, and cruelty is absolutely the point. You get no cut cards. You get no excuses. You get no get out of jail free card. White America, the past of my country, is marked by the graves of children. And when I say that, I mean the children that you kidnapped and took to places like Haskell and Carlisle Indian School and many other boarding schools where children were abused, repeatedly raped, had their hair cut off, were powdered with DDT, not allowed to speak their language, and then turned out to your fucking military, where you did the same thing again. And many came home to the reservation, and their people did not know how to cope and committed suicide, including Mr. Ira Hayes. But I digress. Is this fascism or a Caligulesque domestic terrorism? I think it is the latter. There is no such thing as fiscal conservatives. There is no such thing as the Republican Party. All there is a roving gang of white supremacists who answer to one master and one master only. In addition, there are Democrats who are afraid of this white master. And you know what I know about history? Is every one of those masters will be defeated by a John Brown. That's how the American Civil War happened. And if need be, it'll happen again. But I digress. For those of you in the United States Congress and the toothless MAGA motherfuckers that still are supporting this dipshit, ICE agents that think they are powerful now, Latino, black, white, and otherwise, we have this little system called The Hague. And despite what people say about what can and can't be done, fucking crack open a book. Just because the United States of America is not part of the international court system does not mean they cannot be held accountable by the international court system. And if you think this jerk off is going to get a fucking Nobel Peace Prize after this, think again. But I digress once again. Donald Trump is not immune to anything that the world decides, because this is the United States of America. If you made that statement, which one person did to me, that, oh, we're not part of the international court system, then you're a fucking idiot. Read a fucking book, dipshit. Get an education. I'm tired of dealing with slow people. So you, the same dipshit that told me that, MAGA people, and anybody who is a Democrat that is still centrist and placating to all of this bullshit, you got doged, raped of your civil and human rights by a low IQ, sundowning megalomaniac. Fucknut. That's where you're at. Any Democrat, university, hospital, Republican, or person that still wakes up in the morning in the United States of America and breathes is a complete idiot. If you think we're stupid enough to allow you to continue on this path. We might not say anything, but we know everything. Because outside of you, Merrick Garland, Nancy Pelosi, and others, We have been clocking your time since the first Donald Trump administration. People like me have been looking at your every move, how you voted, what you said, all of that. And only recently, social media has made that public. Now, Donald Trump is talking about removing people's status as Americans. If you are here by slavery, or if you are naturalized in any way, they're going to start with Latinos and Muslims, of course. But they're going to end with people that look like me. People that have generations of genealogy in the United States of America. This is just too much. In my honest opinion, I don't think Donald Trump is in charge of this nation anymore. I think the people that are running it are Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller. And if you operate under that assumption, then you might just be able to keep yourself safe. I know how to keep mine safe. We have been more than running around, going to protests, and doing podcasts. We have been on the ground assisting Latino people with the same Holocaust we endured as Native Americans. We have been hunted like they have. We have had our property stolen, our lives threatened, and we've been slaughtered in broad daylight. And this is what is happening now. So if you celebrated Thanksgiving the other day, and you did it in the spirit of, oh, well, this is a holiday and we're traveling and we're doing all that. Well, it was a day of mourning for us. We spent that day remembering all of the people that our fathers and our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers told us about, in addition to the people we fought with for Indian rights, who have died and did not get to see Leonard Peltier get out of jail. Now, on this day, I would like to thank Joe Biden for commutating his sentence. And it appears to me that we have a whole lot more work to do, because it has just come to my attention that this asshole that you all ignored on Thanksgiving Day is about to take away all of Joe Biden's pardons. Now, if you're okay with not making that news, don't like and subscribe to this channel. If you do, like, subscribe, and put in a comment. But when I thought they couldn't do something more awful than they've already done, they just put a bunch of criminals on the street by pardoning January 6th insurrectionists. And now they threaten to take away the freedom of a man who spent his formative years in American custody, being abused in an Indian boarding school, to turn around, go back to the reservation, and be incarcerated for another 49 years for a crime he didn't commit. And now, because he doesn't fucking like Joe Biden, black people, Indian people, or any movement that opposes him, he's going to take away the crown jewel of Native American resistance. With that, when that happens, you can take civil disobedience and shove it up your fucking ass. Because that's my red line. That's our red line. Whatever happens after that is your fight. That's your thing. That's your mojo. That's your whatever. We got our guy back. And we intend to keep it that way. No compromises. This is the John Brown Alliance. When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. Hope y'all have a better weekend than we did.